Hello there. Good evening, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Um, oh wow, everybody's already saying where they're from. Before you, I'm not even going to start yet, but I want to say to all those really cool people who are chatting in the chat box from Pittsburgh and West Virginia, Atlanta. When you chat in the chat box, I'm going to go over this more in a second. Please do it to panelists and attendees. So far, everybody's just doing panelists. So please, when you do it, you're going to have a little drop-down menu there. Do it to panelists and attendees. Yeah, like Taylor did. And great. That's much more like it. Well, I didn't even ask you to check in and start saying where you're from yet, but that's really cool. Thanks so much, everybody, for doing that. I'm Dr. Richard Maddow. I'm co-founder of the Maddow Center for Dental Practice Success. And I'm so excited to have all of you with us tonight. I see the room is filling up very quickly. We're close to 500 people in the room right now. And that is super cool. And I know a lot of you haven't met me before, and I haven't met you. So I'll just tell you real quickly, I'm a real dentist, just like you. I know we've got dentists and team members on here tonight, and that is so exciting. For over 30 years outside of my practice of dentistry, I've been with the Maddow Center for Dental Practice Success. I'm co-founder of it, along with my brother, Dr. David Maddow, who's also a dentist. And we have been working with dental practices all over North America. We've been writing, we've been blogging, we've been speaking at seminars all across the world. We've been podcasting, doing all these fun things. And now here we are coming into your living room, your office, your kitchen, your car, your picnic bench, wherever the heck you're watching from tonight. And it's so great to have everybody. When we do these webinars, you know, it's so weird. You can feel a little disconnected. So I kind of like to picture everybody like we're in one big arena here all together. I think we're going to have 600 or 700 people here tonight. So just picture we're all in a room learning together. And I really appreciate all the comments that are coming through already, which will lead me to, I'm going to just do this next slide that I always have in there, but you guys are way ahead of the curve. And that is when you're using the chat function, address your comments to panelists and attendees, not just panelists. I see a bunch of you didn't hear that yet. So, wow, someone's coming in from China. That's really cool. Anyway, address your comments to panelists and attendees. And that way everybody can see them. And if you have a question, please address it to panelists and attendees so everybody can join in. I was going to ask everybody to chime on in and let me know where you're from, but I see so many people have taken the lead on that. So check it out now. Try your little chat box. Make sure you do panelists and attendees. We've got West Virginia, Pittsburgh, Atlanta, New York, SoCal, Maryland, my home state, Florida. I was just in Florida a few days ago. Both of my kids and my daughter-in-law live there. Maryland, Illinois, Connecticut. Hola, bonjour, privé. Not sure where that's from. Pennsylvania, Michigan. We got a Michigander on there. Jersey, Pennsylvania. I'm skipping through really fast. Houston, Utah, Michigan again, Raleigh. A bunch of people from Utah, Jersey, Dallas, Delaware. Wow, too many to read because it'll just the list. But I really appreciate everybody being so enthusiastic here. Another Marylander, Tennessee, North Lake, Texas, Montana. Hi from California, PA, Jersey. Okay, wow, that is, I think, a record amount of people checking in to say hello. So I really appreciate it, including Mark Small from Rhode Island. I happen to be in downtown Baltimore, Maryland. That's where I live. That's where I'm from. That's where the Maddow Center is. But we work with practices from all across North America. And again, I'm so glad to have you here tonight. Boy, it's been a long year for everyone. And I know we all miss doing all the great social things that we do, but fortunately, our practices are up and running. And I know a lot of the practices that we work with are doing better than ever. So that's really great to see. And some are still having a little trouble recovering from our little break that we had with COVID, but that's okay. We're all here together now to have fun, to learn. I can't wait to get back on the road to be doing some seminars and to meet everyone in person. But for now, we'll stick with the webinar format because that's the best we've got. So again, use the chat function to ask questions or make comments. Address your comments to panelists and attendees. For those of you who just got here, I'm Dr. Richard Maddow. I'm co-founder of the Maddow Center for Dental Practice Success. And I always say this because I know, there are tons of great practice management type teachers, lecturers, coaches out there in dentistry, but many of them aren't dentists, and that's fine. You can learn from anybody. I love to learn from anybody, but there's something about being a dentist. As I always say, just like you, I've been bitten, I've been puked on. I've yelled at insurance companies. I've had crazy patients. I've had great team members. I've had team members that weren't so great. I know what it's like to try to prep the distal of tooth number 2 on a patient who's spazzing out and salivating. And so, I've been there, I've done that. I'm part of the fraternity and sorority. So again, that's where I'm coming from, and I'm glad to be here with everybody. So those of you who have attended our seminars and or webinars before know that before I get into the main topic, which is really dumb things that smart dentists do, and I'm excited to talk about those, and I've done most of them, if not all of them, so don't worry, I'm not putting myself on a pedestal here. I just want to tell you, I'd love to start with a really quick way to either save a ton of money in your practice or get some cash flow immediately into your practice. Because if you can save a ton of money in your practice and reduce your overhead, reducing your overhead is so important because it goes straight to the bottom line of the practice. I mean, let's face it, we love treating patients, we love getting paid, but once that money comes in, you've got to disperse it here and there and there and all these other places. When you can reduce your expenses, your bottom line just gets cut immediately. And that's why I want to talk to you about something really quickly that can absolutely reduce your overhead instantly, typically by making one telephone call and then putting the whole thing in autopilot. You can save hundreds, if not thousands, every month. Wow, that sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? Well, it's not, because we do it at the Maddow Center, and we've taught this to hundreds of dental practices all across the country. And that is to look at the way you are paying for your credit card processing. Now, I know credit card processing is one of those things. Every couple months, you read something in a journal or somebody calls you up or your banker tells you, hey, we can save you 0.01% on your credit card processing. Let's do analysis, blah, 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 blah. But that's not the way to do it, because no matter who you're working with, they charge what's called an overage percentage. And that means when somebody whips out their credit card, and we love it when they do because we get paid, and then they can pay their credit card company at any rate they want. It's not our problem. We get paid immediately. So we love it when a patient pulls out the credit card. You are paying the credit card company a percentage for every transaction. Now, of course, you've got to pay Visa, MasterCard, American Express, but then your credit card company dings you a percentage on every single charge, and that adds up. That really adds up. And that's why we switched to Fat Merchant. And that's why we've got hundreds of dental practices all across the US using Fat Merchant, because Fat Merchant doesn't charge that overage percentage. They just charge a very low flat monthly fee. So you're going to be paying the same super low amount to Fat Merchant every single month. And this will absolutely save you money and reduce your overhead. And then it's on autopilot, and you never have to worry about it again. And month after month after month after month, you're saving money. Fat Merchant's really incredible, but just in case you don't believe me, US News ranked them the best. They said their transaction fees are lower, they have 24/7 customer support, and they are a cost-saving solution. So as you can tell, we enthusiastically love Fat Merchant. We've been using them at the Maddow Center for a long time, and we love saving money every month because there's no overage percentage. No overage percentage, just a low flat monthly fee. So check Fat Merchant out. Of course, they've got the touch-free terminals, which, everybody's worried about infection control, which we always have been, but it's certainly more highlighted these days. So they can set you up with these great touch-free terminals. All their tech is really great. It's state-of-the-art technology, dashboard, all the really cool things. But the main thing I love about Fat Merchant is they save you money every month. No overage percentage, just the low flat monthly fee. So our friends at Fat Merchant knew that we were going to be doing this webinar tonight and meeting a whole lot of new people that maybe haven't even heard us before. So we talked about something really cool, and that is Fat Merchant will give you a $25 Amazon gift card just by making a little phone appointment with them and finding out if they're going to work for your practice. So, they'll ask you some questions about your practice, and they might say, well, stick with what you have. That's the best for you. And even if they say that, you still get the $25 gift card. But I can pretty much bet they're going to say, hey, this is how much Fat Merchant's going to save you. And you'll be so excited, you'll probably switch, because who doesn't want to save money every month by doing nothing except switching your credit card processor? So go to maddow.com/gift. And you can set up a little phone appointment with Fat Merchant. They'll talk to you about what they can do for you, how they can help you, if they can save you money. And then just for your trouble, they're going to give you a $25 Amazon gift card so you can get something really fun on Amazon. It's maddow.com/gift. Or if you're really one of the cool dudes, I'll step out of the way here. Whoops, wrong way. You can just hold your photo reader up to this QR code. And I'll give you a second to do that. And that'll take you right to that page. So I'll give you a second to do that. Or if you're not a QR code person, just go to matto.com/gift. It's really easy. There you go. Matto.com/gift. Save money every month. Get a $25 Amazon gift card. It's the no-brainer. You absolutely cannot lose. I love Sean made a little comment. Best way to make money is to save money. It's so true because when you lower your overhead, it just comes right from the bottom line. I mean, it's not, when you produce, there's always overhead attached to that. Not that we don't want to produce, but this is a way just to slash your costs immediately. The money goes right into your pocket. So absolutely check out Fat Merchant. And they're really cool people. They're great to deal with. I know you'll enjoy your relationship with them. We certainly do at the Matto Center. So there you go. Just go to matto.com/gift, get your gift card, start saving money immediately. Okay, once again, if you just joined us, I'm Dr. Richard Matto, co-founder of the Matto Center for Dental Practice Success. We are located in Baltimore, Maryland. That's where I am right now, but we travel all across North America, work with practices all across the country, and I'll be speaking at a bunch of seminars all across the country, hopefully really soon. I know we've got a few gigs coming up and they're starting to reopen dental seminars again, so I'm really, really excited about that. So again, talk to panelists and attendees if you want to ask a question, and let's talk about really dumb things that smart dentists do. It's so funny. I was kind of planning a new course. I was writing up like a script for a new seminar and a new webinar. And I'm sitting at my desk and I started making these lists of, I'm just thinking like, what are some of the biggest mistakes that I've made and that other dentists I know have made in the course of their careers? And I start making this list. And of course, as usual, I've got the music blasting. I'm playing our local college radio station here in Baltimore. We have a great college radio station. And the song from the late 80s comes on. It's called I've Done All the Dumb Things by Paul Kelly. Not really a big hit in the US, more well-known in Australia. But I'm like writing my list and I'm hearing the song and he's going, I've done all the dumb things. I'm thinking, wow, so have I. So many dentists that I know. So many dentists that we work with. Wouldn't it be fun to make a list of 10 dumb things that smart dentists do and talk about that in a webinar or a seminar? So that's what we're going to do tonight. 10 of them right in a row. 10 dumb things that smart dentists do. And even better, I'll give you some solutions that are easy. So let's get right down to it. Number one, dumb thing that smart dentists do. This is kind of a play on Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. Well, a lot of dentists think if you buy it, they will come. And what am I talking about? If you buy it, they will come. I'm going to pre-qualify this by saying I am not a Luddite. I'm not against high-tech equipment. I'm not against all the great advances we've had in dentistry. I think some of these things are downright miraculous. I mean, the images you get from cone beam technology, incredible. The ability to make a crown while the patient sits there and cement it right on their tooth instead of doing the temporary in the lab, it's amazing. There's so many great technologies available in dentistry today. The problem is a lot of people whose practices are struggling, who aren't doing as well as they think they should be doing or they want to be doing, think that spending money in technology is going to be the thing that saves their practice. And it's really sad because, look, let's face it. As I said, I'm not a Luddite. I have nothing against these great technologies, but they are sold to you by super professional salespeople who really know how to get your juices flowing and get you to sign on the line to purchase a six-figure piece of technology. And they tell you that this will increase your practice revenue. Well, usually it doesn't. Usually all it does is increase your debt, because as great as it is to have these things, they don't pay for themselves. Patients aren't going to line up all around the block because you have a cone beam or because you have this or you have that. It's so weird. A dentist called us a couple of years ago, and he was considering working with us as his coaches. And he said, well, it's either that or I'm going to buy this pain machine I learned about in the seminar. I didn't even know what he was talking about. He said, yeah, I went to the seminar last month and they've got this pain machine. And if a patient has temporomandibular disorder and they're in pain, all you do is you hold this pain machine up to their jaw and it takes the pain away. I'm thinking like, what the heck are you talking about? This thing can't possibly work. Oh, and then of course, after spending whatever, $70,000 on this pain machine, he's got to take his whole team to Tampa, Florida to go to this training. And like, what are you talking about? Like, it was really crazy. So he was deciding between getting the services of a great dental coach or consultant, or buying the pain machine. And of course, you bought the pain machine because that's easy. You buy a piece of equipment and then everybody's going to line up, but it doesn't happen. So don't do dumb thing number one. If you buy it, they will come. If you are ready, if you can afford the technology and you want to do all these great things, then sure, go for it. But please do not think that it's going to be the thing that will turn your practice around, because it won't. Here's what I always say. Again, I have nothing against CEREC. It's incredible, but I'll only get that crown if you can do it in one appointment. Said no patient ever. You're not going to lose patients if you don't get a CEREC. You absolutely will not. So again, these technologies are great, but don't let a slick salesperson talk you into buying something that you can't afford. If you want it and you can afford it, that's fantastic. But please don't go into debt or more debt buying a piece of equipment thinking it's going to be the answer to all your practice woes. And we've got a bunch of great comments there. Sucked into a sale, been there, done that. The cost of a scanner, it's just, I think a lot of people know what I'm talking about here. So that's dumb thing number one. Okay, let's move on. Dumb thing number two is, this one I hate to say it, and I know we've got a lot of great front desk or office manager, dental business team members on this webinar, and I'm not offending you in any way. I know people that work at the front desk or the business part of the dental team are the most dedicated people. They're great. They've got a tough job. It's a pressure cooker up there. I'm a dentist. I'm in the back the whole time, and I know we've got dentists and dental assistants and hygienists, and it's a pressure cooker in the back too. But believe me, it's tough when you're sitting there at the front desk and patients are demanding. You've got one on the phone and one staring you down and another one forming a line behind them. And it's really a difficult job. And I totally respect and reward the people who sit at the front desk at a dental practice. And while I'm saying that, I just want to take a quick break and give a thank you to two members of Team Matto who are on this webinar tonight, Sylvia Carlin and Ann Ulick. I am a big believer in praising your team members in front of patients, in front of other people. Docs, if you're listening, when your team member does something good, please give them a thank you or a bit of praise. And it's even better if you do it right in front of a patient. So I'm doing it right now in front of, 800 people or whatever. The members of Team Matto are fabulous, and we couldn't do presentations like that without them. They're in the background running this whole thing. All I'm doing is standing in front of a slide and yapping away. So we love our team members. They're fantastic. But for some reason, dentists, you would never hire a hygienist without a license, right? But for some reason, we tend to put people at the front desk who don't have any training, who don't really know what they're doing, and say, here's the phone, when it rings, answer it. Here's a computer, when somebody has insurance, look it up. It's just, everybody in their job needs to be trained. So we have a podcast called the Dental Practice Fixers. And every week on the podcast, I do 3 mystery shopper calls, calling dental practices, posing as a potential new patient, asking the same questions that your potential new patients ask. How much is it cleaning? Do you take my insurance? Where are you located? Do you have payment plans? Whatever. And the results vary. Some people are incredibly nice. They answer the question well. They get engaged in conversation. Other people, they're a little more abrupt. I feel like I'm, like they're doing me a favor just by answering the phone. But the crazy and sad thing is, just about every single time, and I mean every single time, when the call starts winding down, they don't offer the patient an appointment. Now, this is a completely different course. We do like an hour-long course on proper phone technique, but I can just tell you something right now. When a potential new patient calls, just think, my job, my focus, my only job right at this minute is to get this patient off the phone and into the appointment book. How am I going to do that? I'm going to have a great conversation with them. I'm going to learn a little bit about them, about their needs, their wants, their desires, talk to them like they're a real human being. And then at the end of the conversation, I'm going to say, I'm so glad you called. We'd love to see you as a patient here, and then offer 2 good choices. We can see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. If that's not convenient, we've got Monday at 11 a.m. Which works best for you? And I'm telling you, I do mystery shopper calls all the time. I do them live at our seminars. Nobody does it. And we ask the doctor, of course my front desk person does that. Of course they do. They offer everybody an appointment. And don't just say, would you like an appointment? Because then the patient can say no. Then what do you do? So offer 2 good appointment opportunities anytime a potential new patient calls. But unfortunately, on our podcast, It is incredibly rare. I mean, people have nice conversations. They'll answer the questions and they'll say, is there anything else I can do for you? Okay, bye, click. It's unbelievable. If you don't believe me, please check it out. Go to matto.com/dental podcast, or go to your, whatever you use to listen to podcasts, Apple Podcast or Spotify or Stitcher or whatever, wherever you do it, and listen to a few episodes with the Dental Practice Fixers. And I'm telling you, I do not make like 10 calls and then pick 3 where they did it wrong. I just make calls one after the next. We play them on the podcast. This is happening in dental practices all across North America. People are not being offered appointments. So dumb thing number 2 is throwing anyone with a pulse at the front desk. Make sure that the people who work at your front desk have the proper training. Wow, Pamela Kaminsky says that's absolutely brilliant. I love that comment, but direct it to panelists and attendees so everybody can see. That would be great. Check out our podcast, matto.com/dental podcast. You'll be glad you did. Okay, dumb thing number 3 is have a practice that isn't calibrated. What does that mean when a practice is or is not calibrated? Well, again, as not just a dentist, but somebody who works with tons of dental practices, I have observed in, I don't know how many, hundreds, thousands, millions, billions of dental practices all across North America. And one thing that I've noticed, and if you really start paying attention to your practice, you might notice it too, is that if a patient has a question and they ask somebody, let's just say they ask the doctor, then the doctor leaves the room, or maybe they'll go up to the front desk, they'll ask the front desk person, or then they'll see the hygienist in the hallway and they'll flag her down and ask her. They get different answers to the same question. It's kind of like, I'm sure you know people like this, or like kids do this with their parents. They ask mom and don't get the answer they like, so they ask dad, they get a completely different answer. Well, those parents aren't calibrated. And if you're doing this in your dental practice, your practice isn't calibrated either. If a patient asks a question of different people in the practice, most likely they will get a different answer. Well, that's confusing. It's not good. And then, which answer is the correct one? They're going to say, well, I asked Sally, she told me this. Well, I asked Alice, and she told me this. And it's confusing and nobody knows what to do. So how do you get rid of this? Let's make sure that your practice is calibrated. So here's how you calibrate your practice. Have every team member, and every team member, depending on where they work in the practice, is going to have a different list. And the doctor should do this too. Make a list of your FADQs, your FADQs, your frequently asked dental questions. Now, the person at the front desk might have a question like, do you take my insurance? How much is a crown? And then, of course, the hygienist might have a question like, why didn't my last dentist tell me I had periodontal disease? Or can't you just do a cleaning instead of this? And, you know what I'm getting at. Everybody on the team will have different questions that they're asked. So make a list of your frequently asked dental questions. Have everybody do this. Then call a team meeting. And I'm going to highly recommend when you call this team meeting, you do the magic trick of bringing in a couple pizzas. I don't know why. Every team meeting is better when you bring in a couple pizzas. So we're going to have a team meeting. And then maybe the first meeting, we'll take 3 questions. We'll just pick 3 questions. You can say which ones you think are the most asked, or just take 3 at random. It doesn't matter. We're going to take 3 questions, and we're going to talk about these questions with the entire team and come up with the absolute best answer. So what is included in the absolute best answer? Well, a couple things. The absolute best answer answers the patient's question to a level that will satisfy them, but it does it at a level that a 6th grader can understand. It's another thing I see in dental practices where we slip into dental terminology, and these words are so common to us, but let's face it, things like even simple things to us, composite, periodontal disease, crown margin, patients don't know what you're talking about. And then when you start using these terms, what do? And then you leave the room and they say, what the heck did that person just tell me? I have no idea what they're talking about. So when we're coming up with the answers to these questions for our calibration, they've got to be understood by a 6th grader. And then that's the first part. And then the second part is the answers have to lead our patients to what we think is best for them. Making an appointment as a new patient, saying yes to that crown, whatever it is, that's what the great answer is. So, okay, we've taken 3 questions. We've brainstormed as a team. We've had fun. We've had a few laughs, but we've come up with the best answers to these questions. Then what do? Well, it's the same thing as how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, man, practice. So we are going to practice until every single person on the team has the same answer to these questions. So that doesn't mean you memorize it word for word and spit it out like a robot. You've got to do it in your own style. But when our practice is calibrated, anytime a patient asks the question to any team member, they will get the same answer. Again, not word for word, but essentially the same information. And then call another team meeting, do 4 more questions, then 4 more, until you've got your top questions all answered, memorized by the team member and the doctor, and then congratulations, your practice is calibrated. That's something number 3. All right, who's having fun? I am having a good old time here. I hope you are too. Let's keep moving on, and we are going to go to dumb thing number 4. Wow, this is a big one. This is worry way too much about new patients while leaving the back door wide open. Now, just about every time a practice contacts us and says, we'd like to find out about working with you. Our practice is whatever, not growing as much, or we're plateauing. Our revenue is not what we expected. We're not hitting our goals, blah, 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 blah. Pretty much 80% of the time they say, we need more new patients. We need more new patients. It's like a mantra. We need more new patients. We need more new patients. I mean, it's like they say it over and over again. And look, we love new patients. New patients are great. Every dental practice needs more new patients. But what we find is they're worried so much about more new patients, but what they're not thinking about is the back door of the practice. This is metaphorical. The back door of the practice is wide open. It's like you've done so many great things. You've treated your patients the way you'd love to be treated. You're following the golden rule. You might even be asking for referrals. Maybe you're doing some marketing, maybe some SEO, pay-per-click, whatever it is. You're doing all these great things. And then a big busload of new patients pulls up at your practice, and they're all excited, and they all get out of the bus single file, and they open the front door, and they start walking right through. And they stop in the doctor's treatment room, and they stop in the hygienist's room, but then so many of them just keep walking straight out the back door of the practice. It's so much easier to work with an existing patient. It's so much easier to mine that gold mine, that $1 million file cabinet of people who've already picked up the phone and made an appointment and know where your office is and like you and all these great things. So much easier, more efficient, more cost effective, and many times more profitable than always worrying about new patients. We need more new patients. So let me give you an example. I love seeing little charts and graphs, and hopefully you do too. The practices that we work with, we do these data analysis graphs and charts and diagrams. They're really fun. We kind of take a little dive into your software and make things simplified. So this is very typical of a practice. This is new patients versus inactive patients. So there's a line, right where the blue and the red meet. That's like the middle line there. And if you look at this, and this is just a typical practice, the blue going up are new patients that have come in that month, new or recaptured. So maybe a patient went way inactive and then they came back. That's great too. So the blue line is new or recaptured. The red line are patients who have become inactive. They haven't been in for so long that they are now considered inactive. And look at this. This is very typical. October 2020. Yeah, we had 36 new patients, but we had 46 walk out the back door. It's a net negative. So even though our new patient numbers might be really good, there are more patients leaving than are coming in. This is not like a cherry pick chart. This is very typical of practices. When they first come to us for help, this is what we see constantly. They might have decent new patient flow. They might have poor new patient flow, but in just about every case, more people are leaving than are coming in. So your practice is moving in the wrong direction. That's not a good thing. Here's another way to look at it. There's another thing we do when we do our data analysis. These are patients, like the blue patients who have been in with within the last 6 months. Those are great. Those patients are active. They probably have appointments. But if you look at the black and the orange, those are patients who have not been in within the last year to 36 months or so. That's about half the patients in this practice. They are in desperate need of appointment. They haven't been in for over a year. Now, once they pass like the 36-month mark, they fall off this chart. They're not even in this chart. So if you talk about a percentage of your patients who are in desperate need of appointments, it's usually more than half the patients in your practice. We see this all the time. So please don't let that happen to you. Did you like those charts and graphs? I love them. This one, new patients versus inactive patients. This one by month, who's in need of recall appointments. We'd love to do that for you. We do it at no charge. It's a great service. We call it a snapshot. And if you just go to matto.com/snapshot, we'd love to do that for you. It's no charge, no pressure, lots of fun. We'll get on the phone with you. I might even be on the phone myself with you, or maybe we'll have one of our coaches come on too, and we'll show you these charts and graphs and diagrams, do your data analysis. let you know what you're doing really well. It's very rare that we do this for practice and we don't find a few things they're doing well. So that's great. We'll give you the good news. This is where things are really going well in your practice. And we'll also give you the news that we can look at as even better news. Here are some areas where you can improve, because you don't know what to improve or how to improve if you haven't seen your data, if it hasn't been correctly analyzed. Because as I said, just about every practice comes to us and says, we need more new patients. Then we do the data analysis. Sometimes I even want to say, let's not even worry about new patients right now. Stop everything for new patients. We are going to mine the depths of our current patients who need appointments. So again, we'd love to do that for you. Just go to matto.com/snapshot. You'll see just a little form to fill out. Again, it's no charge, it's no pressure, it's no obligation, it's lots of fun, and you will learn a lot about your practice that way. And there's, again, some of the great things that we'll find for you. This whole performance board, I'm not going to explain everything now, but you can see how, dental software is great, but man, it's so confusing. And the reports and the pages and pages of meaningless crap, it can drive you crazy. That's why we like to analyze it into what really counts and simplify it into charts and graphs that everybody can understand. So we'd love to do that for you. Just go to matto.com/snapshot. Again, it is no charge. Okay, dumb thing number 5, not using specialized professionals. What's a specialized professional? Well, I know some of you here from Baltimore, so that was one of our famous Chinese restaurants from years ago. I think I had a picture of their sign, but I kind of customized it a little bit. Could you imagine if you went to the Pagoda Inn and on their sign it said they also do tree removal and web design? Try the lo mein. Well, their lo mein's probably really good, but are you going to go to a Chinese restaurant for tree removal? You're going to go to a Chinese restaurant for web design? Probably not. But this is dumb thing number 5. It's a mistake that dentists make all the time, and that is not using a specialized professional. That means there are a handful of times in the course of your career when you need the services of a fantastic professional. Let's talk about, and I'll give you a whole list of them in a second, but let's talk about an attorney just for a second here. Hopefully you're not being sued all the time. If so, this might be the wrong webinar for you. But there are a few times during the course of your career where you so badly need the services of your attorney. Maybe you're a young dentist and you're signing an associate agreement. Maybe you are purchasing your first practice. Maybe you're a dentist who owns a practice and you're hiring an associate. Maybe you're hiring another associate, and then maybe you make a partnership agreement. And then it comes time to sell your practice. Now that's like a 40-year career, and you've only really needed an attorney badly 5 or 6 times. But when you do, these are some of the most important moves you can ever make. Having the right contracts in place for a win-win, something that benefits you. You need an attorney that truly understands dental practices. Because no matter what they say, oh yeah, I'm a business attorney. I just, I work with a Chinese restaurant. I work with an accounting firm. I work with a salad bar manufacturer, whatever it is. And I've got a couple of dentists for clients. They might be okay, but are they going to be as good as an attorney who works exclusively with dentists, who has done hundreds of associate agreements, of dental practice sales, of partnership agreements, who knows all the nuances and all the little details about the dental practice? That's the kind of attorney you need. So when it comes time to use a professional, make sure you use a specialized professional, somebody who works exclusively or almost exclusively with dentists. I'll give you a few examples here. There you go. Your accountant, your attorney, as I just mentioned, your investment advisor, your web designer, your SEO or pay-per-click person, your lease negotiator. Man, if you are not working with a lease negotiator, you are possibly leaving $100,000 on the table. A lot of dentists don't even know that this science exists, that there's a such thing as a lease negotiator. A lease negotiator doesn't get paid by you, so you don't even have to pay them. They get paid by the landlord. And so many dentists just, they look at the lease or they have their cousin read it or whatever, and they just sign it. Well, lease negotiators can get you the same kind of deal. If you're maybe in a shopping center, there's a Chipotle on one side and a national gym chain on the other side. You're thinking, well, of course they're getting a better deal. They're a big national chain. They've got lawyers on staff. They know what they're doing. I'm just a little dentist. I'm probably not going to get as good a deal as them. Well, you can, and I'll tell you something. Landlords love dentists because we are stable. We don't break our leases. we stay forever, we renew, we bring great people to the entire shopping center. So they love us. So why not use a professional lease negotiator? They can save you tons of money. They can get you build outs. They can get you special deals where you get a few months free, all kinds of great things. I'm not going to go into detail here, but I'm just saying when you need to use a professional, look at SEO pay-per-click. Yeah, you might have a nephew who's a whiz with computers and they did some SEO for their own little business. They need to know exactly what makes dental practices tick, from the keywords that people look for to which ones are more profitable, how much you should bid for these keywords, all these things. You need somebody that truly knows dentistry. So when it comes time to use the services of any professional, and there are more than just on this list, please make sure you utilize the services of somebody who really knows dentistry. And if you want some advice or a recommendation, send me an email. Got info@matter.com is right on there. Send an email to us. I will absolutely personally answer your email. My personal email address is rich, R-I-C-H, at matter.com. Either way, it'll get to me or a member of our team will pass it over to me. But if you need some advice or a recommendation there, or from anything, or a question about anything we talked about tonight, please send me an email, info@matter.com or rich@matter.com. Okay, just a little tease here. The number one treatment planning mistake, an essential thing that many dentists lose focus on. Don't let dollars get in the way of saying yes. A mistake that's bad. Well, what the heck? Why do I need to read this list? Let's just keep moving. Let's rock it. Dumb thing number 6 is trying to, I'll make air quotes. Well, they're not air quotes because you can see me, trying to sell dentistry instead of establishing a relationship of confidence and trust. There are so many courses where they say this is the secrets to treatment planning success. And then you go to these treatment planning boot camps. And what do they teach you? They teach you, okay, here's what you do. If the patient says this, you come back with that. If the patient says this, like retorts, if the patient says this, you say that. Then if they say this, you say that. And then finally you stare them right in the eye and say, is this the kind of dentistry you want for yourself? Let's make an appointment right now. That's a high pressure sales tactic that is extremely unprofessional and should never be used in the dental practice. We make we always use like the stereotype. It's like a car salesman. Well, I got to tell you, there's nothing wrong with car salesmen. I'm sure there are some really honest and ethical car salesmen out there that really take their job seriously of finding the right car for you and getting you a good price and all those things. But car salesmen need to use these techniques because let's face it, a car is a commodity. If you're looking at a Honda Civic and you don't see what you like, you're going to go to the dealership 10 miles down the road. You'll get the same Honda Civic. It's a commodity. A Honda Civic at dealership A is the same thing as a Honda Civic at dealership B. It's not that way with dentistry. So that's why these sales techniques don't work when it comes to getting patients to say yes to our treatment plan recommendations. What works is establishing a relationship of confidence and trust. So the patient trusts the dentist and the team. They have confidence they're in the right office. They know that crown's going to be fantastic and beautiful and feel good because you have shown them how good you are and how professional they are. You've treated this patient like they've never been treated before in any dental practice. You've made your little, I call them blue sheet notes. Again, that's for a different seminar, but you've made little personal notes. So when the patient comes back, you can say, hey, how'd that knee replacement surgery go? Or, oh, I understand you're about to become a grandmother. That's fantastic. You know them as a person. Now, I cannot stand it when I hear in a dental practice, somebody will say, we've got a crown prep in room number 3. That kind of stuff drives me crazy. You don't have a crown prep in room number 3. You've got a real living, breathing person in treatment room number 3 who is in charge of a crown, who is in need of, not in charge, I hope, in need of a crown prep. So if you treat your patients like a crown prep in room number 3 and you high pressure them into saying yes to their treatment, you might get a few people to say yes, but in the long run, it's not good for your practice. It's not good for your patients. And your treatment plan acceptance will not be as high as somebody who takes their time, who truly cares about their patients and establishes that relationship of confidence and trust. That's dumb thing number 6. Dumb thing number 7. Well, this is a good one. It's not dancing with who brung you. Now, that's kind of a Southern expression. Again, I'm in Baltimore, Maryland. The people in the North think we're Southerners. The people in the South think we're Northerners. It's very confusing. I'm not sure what the heck I am. But I know that in the South, there's an expression that says, dance with who brung you. And in dentistry, I see so many dentists try to violate that rule of dancing with who brung you. And what does that mean? Well, you got your dental practice and you're maybe not reaching your goals, you're a little frustrated, you're plateauing, not growing as fast as you want, and you want to increase your income. So what do? Well, you get distracted by like you're gonna invest in your friend's brew pub, and that's gonna be, oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Invest in this brew pub, and I'm gonna go there till midnight every night and try to schmooze with the people. Oh, that's horrible. Or you get involved in some crazy multi-level marketing scheme where you're trying to sell $80 bottles of hand lotion to your patients. And if they just get 5 people to do it, and those 5 get 5 people to do it, and those 5 get 5 people to do it, and then those 5 get 5, it doesn't matter that it's mathematically impossible. We're all going to be billionaires. Ah! That's not who brung you. That's not what it's all about. Or maybe, and I know, look, I know this has worked for a few people, but in general, I'm not a fan. And that is opening up a satellite office, which I can't stand that term anyway. What the heck is a satellite office? Like your office spins around the sun, and then oh, there it is, I got it. And then of course it's not as good as the regular office. We keep all the crappy equipment because it's just a satellite office. I don't know. I don't think it usually works out for most dentists. So who brung you? Who brung you? Well, again, I'm a dentist. I had my own very successful practice, and I know hundreds or thousands of dentists who have been slugging it out for years. The most repeatable pattern of success, in my opinion, in dentistry is the single office, one office, and you can expand the office. It could be 4 operatories, it could be 20 operatories. I mean, I've got a really good friend in South Florida, Dr. Mitchell Josephs, who has a 4 operatory practice. His office is like this big. He's got 4 team members, 4 operatories, and he is producing and collecting over $2 million per year. So it can be done in a small office, or maybe you have a different type of office, you need more treatment rooms. But in general, who brung you is one office where you're doing not getting caught up in these esoteric procedures that nobody cares about. You're doing the procedures that people need. And what is that? Endo, core, and crown, implant, abutment, crown, scaling and root planing. Maybe you want to get a little more advanced and really, get into some more detailed, comprehensive cases, and that's great. But those are the things that people need, not these crazy esoteric things. You can be a huge success with one dynamite practice, and I can tell you it's a lot less stress and a lot less overhead. And some people are just making their comments to panelists. I really would like it if you made them to panelists and attendees. But we got a great comment from Susan Frank. She said, totally agree. 38 years of success with one office only. So much easier. Woo, Dr. Susan, I so agree. Overhead's lower, you're happier, all these great things. So dumb thing number 7 is not dancing with who brung you. We got 8, 9, and 10 coming up, but if you want to get in touch with us, our website is matto.com. Our phone number, 410-526-4780. If you're a Facebook person, I know a lot of us don't like Facebook for many reasons, but one reason is the dental groups on Facebook. You make a comment and people are just like waiting to shoot you down and make a negative comment, get into a debate with you, or make you feel like an idiot. We do not allow that on the dental place. The dental place is the kind, gentle, and peaceful place for dentists and team members to gather. So just go on Facebook and look for the dental place and join in. We'd love to have you. Our podcast I mentioned before is called the Dental Practice Fixers. If you want to send me an email, just send it to me personally, Rich, R-I-C-H, @matto.com. So those are some easy ways to get in touch with us. I think on CE Zoom, there's going to be a handout that has all of this information that Sylvia so beautifully prepared, but you might want to just jot this down too, or do a screenshot or whatever. Some really simple ways to get in touch with us. Okay. Dumb thing number 8, overcomplicating patient payments and finances. One rule that I have is a patient who owes you money is an unhappy patient. So never, ever, ever have a patient owe you money. The only way to avoid having patients owe you money is that payment is due on or before the day treatment starts. And I don't even do half of the prep, half of the insert, because then a patient owes you money. So what happens? You do the prep and they throw the money down, they're all excited. And then they, 2 weeks later, they come back, you've got the crown back from the lab, but they owe you $800. Well, what are you going to do if they don't have it? You still got to submit the crown. You're ethically committed to doing that. And so never have a patient owe you money. It's just so much easier if you are paid in full on or before the day treatment begins. So let's not overcomplicate it. It's easy. Cash, check, credit card, or third-party financing. Care Credit is absolutely by far my favorite third-party financing company. I know a lot of you use CareCredit. We've been recommending them for years. I use them in my practice. But the problem is a lot of people have CareCredit in place and patients aren't saying yes to it. And again, it's because they overcomplicate it. Say, oh, we've got this thing, it's called CareCredit, it's third party, it's like a credit card. And all you need to do is fill out this form and we're gonna ask you all kinds of things about your income and your prison record and your bankruptcy and this and that. And you know, you're gonna be a little bit embarrassed, but then we send it in. And if you're approved, if you're not approved, we're gonna be making it. And they just don't do it. They run away screaming because you frighten them out of doing it. Here is the simple way to offer CareCredit or third party financing. Let's say that a patient needs $2,400 worth of treatment and they don't want to do cash, check, or credit card. 5 seconds. 5 seconds. You look them right in the eye, say, we've got a great option for you. We could do 12 months, interest free. That will be just $200 a month. Is that something you'd like to take advantage of? Start talking. Start talking. Because dental people, we get so nervous of like there's a millisecond of space. We have to start yapping and yapping, yapping. Don't do it. Just do it again. Let's rehearse it. It's so easy. We've got a great option for you. We could do 12 months interest free. That would be just $200 a month. Is that something you'd like to do? And then quote and wait for them to say yes. Then put the whole thing in place. And whatever you do, and I'm telling you, every time I do a live seminar and I talk about this, somebody raises their hand and says, well, the only time we let patients pay us over, a period of time is if they get turned down by CareCredit. It's like, no, that's the last person you want to extend an in-house payment plan to. A professional credit company, the best one in the world. CareCredit has just explicitly told you that this patient is going to screw you over. Why would you ever let that patient do a payment plan? And don't do it and then say, oh, if they don't pay, I'm just going to write it off as charity. Pick your charity cases. Don't do charity because somebody doesn't pay you. That's how you're ripping yourself off. Ask your CareCredit rep for this little form. It's fantastic. It's so easy. I know you probably can't see it that large on your screen or your phone or your iPad or your device, wherever you're watching, but ask your CareCredit rep about this. It's so easy. It just lists all the options. It has a little checkbox for cash, check, credit card, and then at the bottom it breaks down if you want to pay over 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. All you have to do is print this out, you review it with the patient, it takes 10 seconds. Which way would you like to pay for your treatment? Boom, it's all done. So your CareCredit rep has all kinds of great things you can take advantage of. Do not forget to ask them for this. Really, really great little form there. Okay, dumping number 9 is living the dental lifestyle. For some reason, some people, I know not any of you, but I just want to review this because it's very important. Some people think that as soon as they get that DDS or DMD, all of a sudden they can have a fleet of sports cars and a mansion and a boat and a swimming pool, movie stars, whatever. You are not entitled to any kind of lifestyle because you're a dentist. You've got to work to earn that lifestyle. Now, I've got nothing against this kind of stuff. I've got things that I spend money on. I love to travel. I love having great musical instruments, whatever. We've all got our things we love to spend money on, but don't go into debt living this lifestyle that you think you deserve. I've seen so many young dentists kind of wanting to live the dental lifestyle, look like a dentist. They think that their patients are going to like them better if they pull up to their office in a Mercedes, but then they just accrue debt and it's a lot of pressure and it makes you unhappy. So please work with a good financial professional. And if they're telling you how much you need to save, how much you should be earning, plot out your whole course of your retirement plan and all those things, and then you've got money left over, spend it on whatever the heck you want. I don't care what you spend it on, but just make sure you're not going into debt to do that. So that's dumping number 9, living the dental lifestyle. Dumping number 10 is kind of related to that. Before I go to dumping number 10, I just want to review really quickly. Hopefully you were here at the beginning where I talked about this because it is the easiest way I've ever seen to lower your overhead. And that is use Fat Merchant for your credit card processing. They are fantastic because, believe it or not, they do not charge an overage percentage. Every time somebody whips out a credit card, they don't tack a percentage onto it. They just charge a flat, low monthly fee. We use them at the Matto Center. We save a ton of money every month. We've recommended this to hundreds of dental practices all across the country, and they are saving hundreds, if not thousands, every single month. Somebody actually just sent me a picture of a car they bought with the money they saved by using Fat Merchant. See, that's not living the dental lifestyle. They started using Fat Merchant, they counted their savings, and then they put it towards the car. That's really cool. So if you want to find out more, just go to matto.com/gift And you'll even get a $25 Amazon gift card when you talk to one. You don't have to sign up for Fat Merchant to get the gift card. You just have to talk to one of the really great reps to find out if Fat Merchant's right for you. And they'll tell you. They'll do some calculations and tell you if it's right for you or not. Chances are it will be, because it's just so amazing not to be dinged with that overage percentage every month by your credit card processor like you're doing right now, and pay the low flat monthly fee. So go to Matto. I'll step out of the way here. Maybe you can scan that cool QR code. Just go to matto.com/gift, and bingo, you'll be on your way to lowering your overhead every single dingle dangle month. Okay. Dumb thing number 10 is having a negative happiness equation. And I'm sorry to say, this is rampant in dentistry, a negative happiness equation. What does that mean, having a negative happiness equation? Well, it means that you really don't like your job as a dentist. And this can be a dental team member as well. Dental team members can have negative happiness equations, absolutely. This means that you kind of go to work Monday through Friday, Monday through Thursday, whatever, and you slog it out, not liking it, knowing that you're earning money so that you can then try to use that money to enjoy your weekends and your vacations. In other words, Monday through Friday is negative, 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 hoping that you earn enough money to then have a great weekend or a great vacation. And you know what? It doesn't work. It stretches you out like crazy. And then what happens? The weekend comes along. It takes you all Saturday to wind down. Finally, maybe by Sunday morning, you're feeling good. And then Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening comes along, and you get the Sunday night blues, because you know that the next morning you've got to get in your car and travel to that dental office that you can't stand. This causes so much stress. It causes illness. It lowers your life expectancy. It's not good to be stressed and unhappy all the time. And way too many dentists have a negative happiness equation. I know this is a cliche, but it's so true. We are at our dental practices with our dental teams, probably more than we're home, a lot of times more than we're with our family. So you've got to enjoy it. And one of the most important things is enjoying the people that you work with, your patients. And this is something I always remind dentists and dental team members. Let's not be judgmental of our patients. Let's not try to say our patients are mean or crazy or idiots or stupid or whatever. So many times we're seeing these people at their worst. Most people don't like going to the dentist. They dread it. They don't want to be there for whatever reason. We can't blame them. And we're seeing them at their worst. And if you were to see them in a different situation, they might be a completely different person. So let's not make any negative comments about our patients. But we need to like our team. We need to have a great atmosphere with our team members without backstabbing and gossip and biting and all these things. Let's get rid of it. So I'll give you some quick tips. I'm not saying this is the do-all and end-all of ways to overcome a negative happiness equation, but this is a start. First of all, use the politeness strategy. And that means, doctors, I'm talking to you here, but team members also. I don't care how busy you are. You always have time to say please and thank you. You don't just say, Explorer. You can always say, Janice, pass me the Explorer, please. And then when they do, thank you. Anything you do where you're asking someone to do something. I know it's their job, and we're all here to do our jobs, but it doesn't matter. You can always be polite and use, the magic words. It's really true. Please and thank you. Greetings and farewells are so important. When I had my dental practice, every single morning I would say hello personally to every single team member and ask them a little bit, if I knew they went to a movie the night before, ask them how the movie was, how are things with this, how are things with that, how are the kids, how are the grand, whatever, a little personal question. Again, this is like our second family. These are our dental family. You really should care about these people that you work with. Every evening, I said goodbye and thank you to every single team member. It's just so important to make people feel wanted, to make people feel special. A well-organized huddle at least 30 minutes before the first patient is a must. I can tell you right now, it is guaranteed that there's going to be stress in your practice if the first patient's at 9 o'clock and the doctor comes in at 9:05. It is the worst way to start the day. Guaranteed. Everybody needs to be there well before the first patient shows up, and a well-organized, not a high-pressure huddle, but a nice, fun huddle to get the day going at least 30 minutes before the first patient. An atmosphere of respect and appreciation. And let's follow the seating chart rule. What the heck is the seating chart rule? Well, many years ago, it was around holiday time, and we always do a nice holiday dinner at the Matto Center. So I think we had about 15 or 16 team members at that time. So Dave and I reserved a big table at a great restaurant in downtown Baltimore, big round table. We had like the whole room. It was fantastic. So Dave and I, Dave is my brother, by the way, Dr. David Maddow. We're co-founders of the Maddow Center. I'm Dr. Richard Maddow, in case you got here really late and have no idea who's talking to you. So we reserved this big table. Dave and I got there before anybody else to set up place cards at the table where everyone was going to sit. Now, why did we set up place cards? It's because we're saying, oh, well, if Linda and Sally sit next to each other, they're going to be whispering and gossiping the whole time. And then, Jean and Elaine don't get along, so we can't put them next to each other. And hell, if I'm sitting next to this person, I don't want to sit anywhere near this person. She's totally nuts. And we're arranging this whole table, keeping in mind that some people shouldn't be sitting next to each other, and that we didn't even want to sit next to some of these people. And while we're doing this, we're thinking, you know what? This is nuts. We shouldn't have to do this. And we kind of made this thing that when we hire the next person and the next and the next, whenever we hire anybody new, one of the tests they have to pass is if we wouldn't want to personally sit next to them at the holiday dinner, they were not going to get hired. That's the seating chart rule. Everybody has to be of similar mindset, get along well. Your dental team have to be people that you want to be with, because we are with them all the time. And if we don't enjoy being with them, we are for sure going to have a negative happiness equation. So that's the seating chart rule. Real quickly, this is kind of a review. We're going to do 10 smart things. I'm going to go boom, 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 boom. It's a review of all the 10 dumb things. Let's do it. 10 smart things. Number one, when considering the purchase of equipment or anything else, think about the true return on investment, not what some slick salesperson tells you, because it is no guarantee that patients will come just because you buy it. Number two, put a superstar at your front desk and supply the proper training. Number three, shut that back door. It's always, we need more new patients. We need more new. Wow, this is really cool with the slide background. Now I feel like I'm in a barn or something. It's always, we need more new patients. We need more new patients. And then when we do the data analysis, which we'd love to do for you, if you just go to maddow.com/snapshot, we find that your back door is wide open. And if you could just get the proper systems and protocols to get these people in who have already been through your doors, new patients won't be as much of a problem. Number four, calibrate your practice. I talked about this earlier. I'm not going to go into it more. If you missed it or have some questions, email me at rich@maddow.com. Call a series of team meetings to get your practice truly, truly calibrated. Make sure that your team of professional advisors works exclusively or almost exclusively with dentists and truly understands the needs of dentists. Don't sell dentistry. You cannot sell dentistry. I don't care what they teach you in some case acceptance course. Get the atmosphere of confidence, of trust, of mutual respect. Treat your patients like they've never been treated before, and they will say yes to your dental recommendations. Maybe not right away. You might not be able to twist their arm and get them to say yes today, but eventually they're going to get that crown done, and you want to make sure they get it done in your practice. Dance with who brung ya. So important. I hope you remember what that means. Make it easy and comfortable for your patients to pay. Offer the great options. Never, ever, ever have a patient owe you money, because patients who owe you money are unhappy patients. Spend less than you earn and have a structured savings plan, and have a positive happiness equation. The Sunday night blues and TGIF, man, not acceptable. I'm not saying every single day in your dental practice is going to be rainbows and puppy dog tails and unicorns. No, there's no way it will be. But most days should be extremely enjoyable. Dentistry is really cool. We're doing great things for people. We're improving their health, their smiles, their feeling, their attitude. What's up with not liking it? We should be loving this. So let's make sure that we are. And that's going to be it for tonight. I don't know if we have any questions here, but if we do, put them in there now. I just really enjoyed. It's hard for me to glance at the comments while I'm talking as well, but I see so many great comments, and I really, really appreciate it. That makes me feel so good. I'm going to give you the CE code in 1 second, but please get in touch with us. Our website, maddow.com. Join our Facebook group called The Dental Place. Check out our podcast. It's called The Dental Practice Fixers. Send me a personal email, rich@maddow.com, RICH@maddow.com.